So I'm Ellen with blackfilm.com, and I'm chatting with Asjha Cooper, the star of action horror film Black as Night, one of 4. Welcome to the Blumhouse Films on Amazon Prime. Hi, Asjha.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Likewise. First off, congrats on your lead role. I remember when I first watched the trailer and I thought to myself, wait, a young woman of color as the protagonist of a vampire movie, I must watch it. I did, and I enjoyed it, and I loved you in it. I truly did.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Black as Night, it's a layered film, right? There's humor, there's horror, there's loss, there's grief, there's a trifecta of social issues. What was your thought process going into this project, knowing what the role and story required?
Honestly, I was really excited because it is a very fun movie, you know, a group of teenagers fighting vampires. Like, that sounds fun, but then also when you really look at it, it's tackling a lot of important topics. And I'm always like, that's why I love TV and film and media so much. It's just because it's like you're telling a story, but then also you can make people think at the same time, you know, without being too preachy. And I feel like our movie does that beautifully. And, you know, just like so thankful to Sherman who wrote the script, because I feel like he really was able to intertwine a lot of different things in a very like easily digestible way for people to understand.
And also very natural and easy to relate to your point.
Yeah.
The film is told through your character, Shauna's point of view. She's 15 and she is going through a lot. Yes. Okay, can you give a bird's eye view of who Shauna is and what she experiences?
Oof. I mean, Shauna is going through a lot. She's going through a lot of family issues as well as just being a teenager. She's an insecure girl just trying to find her way and navigate life through, you know, loves, crushes, friends, as well as family. And then on top of that, vampires. And so, yeah, that's pretty much everything she's going through.
And so what I loved about Shauna is just how fearless she is. Like, see, she is essentially a heroine in this film. And so going into it, you don't expect it to be all that it is. So it's a beautiful and pleasant surprise once you're knee deep in it and you are getting a different types of themes. Like, a lot is going on in a really great way. My favorite scene of Shauna was when her, Chris and Pedro, they find the vampire in the boarded up room, and the look on Shauna's face when she wraps that silver metal chain around the vampire's neck. Like, you had such command of that scene as an actor, but then you also like put it across who Shauna was in that moment. And so, like, what was your process preparing for this?
Well, what I love to do as an actor is that whenever I find out like where the character's from, I like to be like on the ground where the person's from, because I feel like, you know, your like your not circumstances, but your circumstances and your environment really do have a big hand of who you are. And so thankfully everything that we shot was like on location. It was in New Orleans. And so I would just walk around New Orleans for hours, like every day for like 2 hours, just trying to get the feel of what this place is like, because this is, you know, Shauna's upbringing, you know. And then when it came to her building her confidence and fighting the vampires and that specific scene that you're talking about, I feel like you can do a lot when you're vengeful, you know, and after her mother died, I just feel like it was no longer about her in a way. And so that's why she was able to just really get this confidence that she hadn't had before.
And that's one of the things that makes it relatable, because I feel like as humans, we could all identify with revenge in some way, shape, or form, especially when it's connected to our mother.
Right.
And that's what made this film so meaningful, which is something I've never really felt about a vampire movie. Like, I connected to this. That's what sets it apart. And so, and I think I might have answered my own question, but what would you say that it was that gave it such a realistic feel, considering the subject matter?
That gave it such a realistic feel. I mean, the characters. I think that's always where it starts, and the characters are very full-fledged out people that I feel like everyone could hopefully see themselves in, whether it was Shauna or Pedro or Chris, or honestly, even the, Keith David's character, the head honcho vampire. It's like I didn't agree the way that he was going about things, but when you get to what he was actually trying to do, there was very much so truth in that.
Right.
And so, yeah, I feel like that's what made it
Realistic. Yeah.
realistic.
I mean, in the history of Babineau, which is Keith David's character, that opened up a whole other layer of understanding that I was not prepared for, but I appreciated. And so how was that for you, just being immersed in that, knowing, how our history, and racial injustice is tied to it?
Right. I mean, I felt like it was genius the way Sherman did that. It's like, it's just so cool. It's just so cool to have Black vampires, because it's like, of course that's going to affect, of course slavery is going to be affected if a vampire can live for however long. Like, of course you've been able to see and witness everything that has gone on with Black people in not only the world, but, just in America. And I don't know, I felt like it was genius, because it just shows that until you really confront the past, nothing's going to change. And everything was intertwined, because even with the colorism, it's like that dates back to slavery. Like, we didn't really, push that in this movie, but that's what it comes from, like darker skinned women not being seen as beautiful or desirable or loved. It's like that comes from them being outside, and the lighter skinned Black people being inside, and having more just benefits, and because of the color of their skin, they're having to be inside and not work outside picking cotton and stuff. And so everything is intertwined. Everything is about our past if we don't confront it. And so I honestly loved how they were able to tie in slavery, because that is truth.
Absolutely. And, I'm glad that you brought up colorism, because I thought it was really interesting the way it was infused in this film. And so I wanted to ask you, is that something you've experienced in your lifetime? And how did that inform your role?
Oh yeah, 1,000% colorism is something that I've dealt with my entire life. And it's, when I read the script, I didn't see it as something that, like, how do I explain this? Like, I didn't see it as something that was so put on. Like, oh my gosh, why are they trying to make it seem like this girl is like dealing with all this stuff? It's like, no, that is reality if you're a darker skinned Black woman in America. You just get those comments all the time. Like, and I just felt like I was finally just seeing it. I feel like I was finally seeing it in a script, but it's like, that was my reality, honestly, growing up, was getting those types of comments. And I really, truly felt like when I was, reading the script and when we were filming, I felt like I was playing a younger version of myself, because I had, like, those were my insecurities growing up, until I figured out that the love comes from within and beauty comes from within. And I don't have to worry about, like, what everyone else considers as beautiful and Eurocentric features and trying to be a certain way, just like Shauna figured out. So yeah, it was, yeah. Hopefully I answered your question.
No, you did. Thank you for that. Thanks for sharing that. And so what I love that it kind of came full circle was the whole idea that melanin is a superpower. And so only vampires with an ample supply of it can endure the light. And so I loved how that came full circle. Another thing I loved about this was the whole idea, to your point, is of self-love. And so again, the fact that this is a coming of age that has to do with vampires is insane, but also very cool. And so we kind of get to see Shauna go through this, like, process of maybe not fully loving herself in the beginning, but by the end of the film, we get to experience Shauna in her full self. And so I guess my question to you, in terms of that process, how was that transformation-wise as a character?
Yeah, I mean, the transformation, what I loved was that everything came from within. She had a great best friend, Dro, that was constantly uplifting her, but it didn't come from him. It didn't come from her dad. It didn't come from Chris, when Chris finally, you know, decided that she was beautiful in his eyes, it came from herself. It came from her security and her confidence and just realizing that she was beautiful on her own. And I love that. I love that it's not putting it on other people, because you can't put your worth or your beliefs on other people, because that's fleeting. You know, you have to get it from within. And so, yeah, I love playing that transformation with her.
And it was interesting for me as of a certain age, being able to connect with that character. So it doesn't matter which demographic age-wise that you're in, but you can pull something from this and apply it to your life. So thank you for that. Were you a horror genre fan prior to this?
No. No, not at all. I am a scary cat. I get terrified of everything. So yeah, definitely not. Vampires, I could do though. I did used to watch vampire stuff, but like the vampire love stuff, you know, not the scary stuff. Yeah.
like the Twilight, yeah. So
yeah, the Twilight, the Vampire Diaries, you know, that was more must be.
Exactly. I think you've probably, this film and you being at the helm of it has opened up just a whole new possibility for people that look like us to be into vampire movies, especially when we see our reflection in it.
Right, right. I hope so.
That's a total game changer. Congrats again. I'm looking forward to everything else that you have coming. I'm actually a fan of yours, starting from All American. So when I found out you were a part of this project, I was like, yes, yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for talking with blackfilm.com. And I hope to have this conversation again with another movie.
Yes, for sure. Definitely.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.